What we're going to do here is, again, we're going to let him make the decision. So we're going to have him on leash so he cannot access food, because we're going to toss some food and we're going to let the dog make the decision to ignore the food and look at us.
So just
okay? He's never done this game before. So here, I'm in the room and he saw me and he's like, hey. So all I want her to do is just hold the leash. Don't let him get to me. Don't pull it back. Do nothing. Let him I'm standing here like a tree. I'm being super boring. I'm not making eye contact. And I'm going to let him make the decision to go back to her. I figure may as well use this opportunity to do this. And then we're going to do the same concept with the food. She's going to toss the food. He's going to more than likely get to the end of the leash. She's not going to pull him back. She's not going to do or say anything. She's just going to let him stay there at the end of the leash, staring at me, staring at the food until he makes a decision on his own that nothing exciting is nothing is happening here. This is a fruitless endeavor. And he checks in with her. And then when that happens, she's going to mark and reinforce.
Hold him there.
So in this case,
he's not going to do it.
He,
Hi.
So he's wandering around.
See if he checks in with you.
And we just want to see if he checks in. Okay, so Riley took that as a check-in, which is fine. With most of our competition dogs, usually they'll turn and look at our face, and then you want to mark and reinforce that.
Oh, good to see you. Yes. Good.
So there, he chose to walk away from me. So she didn't wait for him to actually check in with her, but that's actually okay. Because her marking that and reinforcing is going to lead him to start pairing, looking at me with, oh, if I ignore her, she's going to mark and I'm going to get reinforced. So maybe she's not quite as interesting as I thought.
Hello?
So see, he's
good.
not even paying me any mind now.
All right, now toss some food like past where he can reach, just on the ground, and same thing, let him just look at it and then stand still.
So she's not going to do anything. She's going to let him stare at it. There, he checked in with her. He checked in. I prefer, again, that they give eye contact, but that's okay. He's very, very new to all this. So she marked. Okay. He came off the food, so she marked and reinforced that. Okay. So, yeah. So with this dog's case, she marked and reinforced it. Then, ideally, he would leave the food and look at her face, and then she would mark and reinforce that. Again.
Yes.
He came back more quickly.
Can you toss it closer so it's more enticing?
Yeah, so I asked her to toss it closer, only because I want to be able to show you guys that he struggles a little bit. But initially, if you do that and he keeps checking in, great, mark and reinforce, move on. All right, it's going to make it a little harder.
Yes.
So he looked at her backwards, but that's okay. He still did. So he went right back to the food. She's not going to say anything. Lets him do it. He comes back. She marks and reinforces.
Yes. He's so good.
So he's backing away from it now. But this is all his choice. No one's saying to him, don't do that. We're letting him figure it out.
Yes.
So now I would want him to.
Yes.
There.
So back up.
He looked right at her. Now what I like to do in these situations is go yes and back up and reinforce, just because it's more exciting and more dynamic, and it kind of gets them away from the food for a second.
2 steps and then just casually walk when he go.
Okay, so now she's gonna back up and walk towards the food.
When he checks back in, and then just walk towards the food, but not obviously stop short of him getting it. Yes.
So she could keep tossing the food is one way, walking towards is another, right? Because you're in motion now, and then the dog's like, oh, I just take a couple extra quick steps and get the food, right? So just make sure he can get it. when he makes a decision to check in, mark, and reward.
Yes.
You see there, he started, as he approached the food, he's starting to look at her. He's understanding the game here.
Don't say anything, though.
So it's okay. She's just like going, oh, like so close, but silence, because that will draw the dog back, and we don't want to do that. We just want the dog to make the decision on their own.
Just be a tree when he does that. Like, don't let him get to it, obviously. But and if
she
he chooses you, then
she shouldn't be looking at him, right? She should be looking straight ahead, because if she looks at him, now you're cueing engagement, right? We don't want that. Just look ahead, let him figure it out.
fine. So just wait.
So like
Anytime
if I looked at my dogs like that, they would be like, oh, I'm supposed to look at you. It's a cue, right? And I don't want to
thinking
cue
about
that.
something else, just wait for him to check in.
Because see,
yes, good. Oh!
So even there, I'm going to tell her, don't pull him back. Let him get to the end. Let him stare at it and let him make the choice to come back. Don't pull him off the cookie. Let him pull himself off the cookie.
Try not to pull him off it, you know what I mean? Just let him make the choice himself. Yeah, it's like his decision. Like, we want him to choose not to look at it and to look at you instead.
Oh, good boy. What a good boy.
So toss a couple treats again.
Now, if this was one of my dogs, they'd probably be like, oh, maybe now I can run and get the cookie. Good. Well, he thought about that really.
Check-ins. Just wait, but don't move, because if you move, you're influencing him.
Yeah, see, if she moves, the motion's going to draw him to her.
Because then he's going to be like, oh, I should go with her. You know what I mean? Instead of just letting him decide.
And the main thing she should be doing is not looking at him. Look straight ahead and let him make the eye contact on his own.
Try looking at the treats on the floor.
Oh, there you go. See?
Move a step closer.
He's like, I'm not falling for that. Okay. And then see how then he lifted his head up to her. That's what we want.
Just be careful when you feed. He might go do that.
See,
so
almost always when you feed, they go right over to there. So you need to be prepared. Almost every time when you feed, they're like, oh, cool, I'm done. Whew. All right? Don't let him catch you.
Same, he might now go look. Yes.
So there, he's starting to figure it out. He's not even getting up anymore. And this is all his choice, okay? So...
No, drop a treat now closer to him, like kind of... Yes.
See, he's starting to figure it out. Smart little guy.
Now be ready. Because every time you feed, he's going to go, oh, I think I can go over there. He's conflicted. Good boy.
Yeah, see, he's conflicted. He's like, I want to go get that cookie,
but...
And basically, he's just going to learn that he never gets these. He only ever gets reinforced here. So staring at them is fruitless. They are not going to levitate into your mouth. You're never going to get them.
Yes. He's like, why is that lady standing there with the camera?
So she,
yes.
And then 300% in on that. Because now he's starting to say, hey, I'm looking at you. Give me the cookie. All right. Now he's really understanding it. Okay. And again, it's not all about getting this, going through a whole bunch of steps in one session. Some of these sessions are longer than they typically would be because I'm trying to take advantage of having a dog that's not fully trained demo these exercises, and show you what it's typically going to look like, right? So it's more realistic. You want to see some progress and then leave it for another day. All right. So ultimately, we should be able to put their favorite treats on the floor, and the dog's going to make the choice to ignore the treat and look at you. If your dog is, toys are a big issue for your dog, then start with one toy and then eventually 2 or 3 toys, and then you could put a whole bunch of toys on the floor, and the dog only gets to tug with with the toy you have when the dog gives you engagement. So you can do this with toys as well, or with toys instead of with food.